So we're free, basically. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we're basically free because we can see now that everything we believed in is about to crumble. So if you don't go at that with fear and you instead say, okay, I'm free, I don't have to worry about having a career because careers aren't really going to exist in our near future. You're free.
Well, absolutely, and the whole purpose of the gold ring is to move away from reaction into creation. And too many people don't understand what reaction really truly means. Reaction is looking at something that is coming to you and going off like a Pavlovian response, whatever that would be, whether it is moving into ignorance or into anger. Either way is wrong because you say, I don't want to look at that because it might be bad. You run away. Well, it just follows you and gets bigger and stronger and meaner and that way. Or if you go anger at it, you create a confrontational energy that just destroys you in the same way. So the whole thing that we're looking at is moving into understanding and raising our consciousness up and bringing a proper energy into it to be, creative.
Exactly.
And so I'm just disturbed with the when people talk about Democrats and Republicans, I have the same feeling for whatever you would consider a person looking away at or looking at it in this wrong way. We have to come together and create a new world, not fight the old world or not try to run away from it.
Exactly. And it's very difficult because of the mentality that has been crafted. And that's the part that people need to step away from. I often suggest a pilgrimage, which is what I did, and putting your life in God's hands. But this is a dangerous thing to suggest to people if they're not mentally prepared, because if you go out there with fear, you're going to run into all kinds of trouble. But if you can put that aside and run on the miraculous, then you will find a world that will unfold before you that you just know the hand of God is playing a role in this, because it's just too amazing to be just mere coincidence. So first we have to clear our minds. We have to forget about the anger we have, because that's being engendered left and right. They want you angry about everything. And we have to set that aside. We got to forgive those that have done this danger, this evil to us. We can't blame W for 9/11. We can't. And these type of thoughts too. This whole truth movement are exactly what they want. So the pre-planned 9/11 truth was already engineered into the whole thing to begin with, so that people would find the clues and follow the story and prove that the American government caused 9/11. Because that was part of the plan, so that America can be taken down by their own Nuremberg trials. And you'll find that W and HW have already bought over 120,000 acres in Paraguay next to a town of twins that Mengele created when he escaped the Nuremberg trials, right? So we see that these type of things aren't going to matter, but we see the social engineering going on when America has become a satanic force. We're being led astray through our pop icons like Lady Gaga and Eminem and Britney Spears, and some of them are complicit, some of them are just simply mind control slaves being used. And so that when the global government comes into being and they turn around and say, well, look what happens when a nation is given freedom. Look at America. They became Satan. They can always refer back to us as to why this global oligarchy needs to be in control. And we will follow suit with our anger and therefore fulfill their very dream that they wanted if we prove this 9/11 truth. You do go through all the stages of grief and hopefully come to the end at acceptance. Because once you're at acceptance, this is all fun. I'm amazed by the world. My life is wonderful in all of the senses of that word. It's full of wonder. It's amazing. And I can't wait to see what's coming.
And then when you let go of all the things you're attached to, including your beliefs, then you move into bliss. When you let go of your belief system systems, your BS, whatever that looks like, then you really start awakening to real and see that's the heart energy. And we need to talk about that sometime, maybe another show. The heart and
critical ingredient to this all. And there are many of us out there. There's a lot of us out there, and so don't be afraid as things start to crumble. We're all out here, ready to hold your hand, ready to carry you forward, ready to share everything we've got. So you can go without fear, knowing that we're out here. And so that's all I ever hope to do, is to bring about wonder and bring about the solutions and the miraculous. Because Christians get all uptight about the idea of magic, but when you read the Bible, you'll find Moses practicing magic in front of the Egyptian magicians, and this was basically this is Exodus. And the concepts of magic and religion should go hand in hand. Solomon, he was a practicer of magic, worshiping Asherah, Shamash, and Molech. And then the idea of sorcery. Okay, so magic is the use and the understanding and the cooperation with the natural forces, whereas sorcery is the manipulation of the natural forces for an egoistic end or your own personal design. Honestly, most of my life is miraculous, and when I tell people my stories, they're like, well, how'd you do that? And honestly, I never thought about how I did it until I was asked. Life just brings me to where I need to be, and things are great and wonderful and miraculous and amazing. So I get a contact saying, come down to Guatemala. The Mayans want you to document their first ever all-night ritual for the winter solstice at the pyramids of Tikal. Yeah, right. I'm living on the couch of a jazz band. I'm a homeless kid in Texas because I choose to be. I like to travel. I'm a shaman. And I find, all of a sudden the exact money for the plane ticket falls into my account. Somebody just donated it to me at the exact moment. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know where I was going. I don't know how to speak Spanish. And I had no money for a return trip. But I was going. And that's the true faith. Now, when people talk about having religious spiritualism, I'm sorry, if you don't have faith, it means nothing. I have faith. I know God has stepped into my life, and that's not a biblical God. That's just the hand of the universe coming down and guiding and helping me all along the way. So I have the liberty to be free because I'm not in fear. And so I just went, and I found myself in amazing events trying to find my way down there. I ended up on the Lake Adelon, a bottomless lake that Jacques Cousteau tried to find the bottom that supposedly a sea monster lives in, and I found myself living under a volcano in Guatemala. Well, hopefully this knowledge will release you from the binds of the social doctrine, because that doesn't exist. That only exists for the populace. It doesn't exist for those in charge. So that when you start to realize what's really going on, then you might just give up on this whole system that they've laid as our prison. So I always hope to incite wonder in people and not fear, and wonder is what we've got right now. It's an amazing place to be right now. Is that they have distorted the view of human nature. And constantly we are seeing this on what they call family entertainment, such things as CSI or all these other horrible things that just show you the destructive nature of humanity. But of course no one walks into a grocery store and thinks that that person wheeling the cart next to him is suddenly going to jump him or anything. We know that every one of our friends around us doesn't have some sort of dominating agenda to take control of us. And so what we need to realize quickly is the inhumane nature of the psychopaths in charge, and the fact that it's not really their fault. Okay, so first of all, we have to find forgiveness in all of this. H.W. most likely was doing rituals on W before he even came out of the womb. H.W. was the head of the CIA. He knew nothing but mind control. That's all his life was. And so therefore he engendered in his child exactly what he wanted. So it's not W's fault at all. I don't think W ever wanted to be president anyway. So we can't blame the people. First of all, we have to find forgiveness in all of this.